social. That's the power of labels, because once you hear a word, you associate things with it, and the associations are incorrect.
Yeah, incorrect. Right. That's why racism had to be taught.
Right. That's very true.
It's not. It doesn't even exist.
Inherent. Right.
And just did it begin too.
Right. So the African Center School, I'm almost clear. They got everybody in there.
Right.
But at that very time, we have independent schools of our people.
Right.
We have them already, but what they did was they said, okay, these people are about to unite. God, we're doing it. Trust me, they know what we're doing. Not just us, but the consciousness of people in this territory.
And the reason why...
Hold on. And what they're doing is, so they went ahead and say, okay, these people are building themselves. They're starting to teach each other.
Right.
Let's them make a school under their jurisdiction. They can't name it Moorish school because that's not their jurisdiction.
Right.
They can only name it either a black or an African-centered school.
Right.
Right. And in these things, you would think the people thought, some of my friends thought that yes, this is a good example.
Right.
Right. And we're gonna now take it over. Now we're gonna do our thing.
Explain it to their hands.
It doesn't even.
Same thing, yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows any updates about what's going on with the school now.
Well, the principal is no longer there. There's a white principal now, Caucasian principal.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
How coincident?
Yeah, big cloud and try to like that.
Why? How could they do that though? It's theirs.
If it's the Afrocentric school,
Exactly.
That's the contention right now. Is that why would you put someone that's of a different Caucasian, totally opposite?
But they want us to emotionally argue that.
That's
so
exactly
it
the point.
stunts us from the building.
That's what you read there. Keep them in mass with things that are not real.
Exactly.
Entertainment, trivial issues. So it takes us away from our power.
Yes, man. Yes, man. And then when and you know what happened to this? How powerful we are as people. It was supposedly somebody, if I have the story correct, a child's mother complained about their child getting in trouble, and went and complained about it, and they were just waiting for one complaint.
Right.
That's it.
They didn't matter what it was to jump down and say, oh, you guys can't do it by yourselves. You guys, we give you on paper this chance, that chance, this chance. You guys can't do it just to make us look messed up. When in actuality, we were around the whole time, and other people of like minds were around at the same time. They're setting up these things, and we've been saying the same things now as we were saying then.
Right. Same
things been going around, and people know about this. I sat down beside that principal, and we never talk about this.
One
She
thing
knows.
I can see that they really
Especially now, she knows.
and cause us to lose control when we can't come together.
That's why.
That's the point.
That's what they're trying to do.
They always try to do.
That's what they're trying to do. Break us
And
apart.
our art and our desire is
They've been
always
always
to be
doing that.
together. For we know that there are differences among us,
Right.
and still we enjoy different culture,
That's right.
distinctive values,
It's very human.
and special attributes.
And
And we know that differences of race, of religion, of culture, of tradition are no insuperable obstacle for the coming together of all of us to live as one.
naturally.
That's right.
Because in actuality, all those cultures and traditions and languages and all that stuff come from one
Place.
soul tradition in one place.
Right.
It's the same universal science.
So we
That's-
need that. We
like
need
astrology,
love
like
of one
everybody's got.
unification.
Right.
That's universal.
Unity should be our accepted goal.
Gold
We
and
must
silver.
look deeply into that. That's the only way we can have a future.
Well,
Calmly,
But even-
confidently, and courageously.
right? And,
You know?
and again, it comes back to the fact that it's how we word things,
That's right.
right? We're all gonna say that, yeah, we want unity, but unity means to become one, which takes away from the fact of everybody having their own piece that actually has to play a part.
That's a good point.
So it's more unification because unification is bringing together all different ones, right? And they maintaining their position and just adding on to the next thing. Opposed to let's forget it all and let's all be this one little box or this one little dot, right? That is still able to be encumbered.
You make a great point.
Now here's the thing about religion. The same thing with black. Our ego, we're trying to redefine something that already has a definition and an
That's right.
origin. Religion, our
It's another
modern
label in some
perception of
sense,
what
isn't it?
religion is so twisted, and this is part of their King Alfred plan,
Yep.
or likewise plans that were stemmed from before, is that religion is law and government.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's a government.
When we're blazing it out, calling it it's politics, that's what it's supposed to be.
It's a greater
But it's-
Hold on though.
We agree
Hold on.
that people
Hold on.
will have
Hold
to
on.
come together in some way. But the bottom line and the base of it must be in love and togetherness.
Definitely.
If the philosophy goes on in bloodshed, we're going to denounce that.
Divine law, natural
You
law.
understand me?
Yes.
Right.
So people will have to come together in some way, you know. But there must be some form of unity and love. No partiality.
And every holy book and every prophet that was on the planet, no matter which people they were relaying the message to, was the same message. And it was this message of unity. No matter what language they transcended, no matter what it was. So my point is that what they were doing was teaching people that on how to govern themselves and connect to the divine law. For example, astrology. Take an example of going around the world and teaching people about astrology. Let's just use that example. People start getting more in tune with themselves. That's a universal conceptual principle. That's religion. When you even know in yourself what's true religion. It's to do with knowledge of yourself, your cosmio, physical, spiritual makeup, whom you are on earth as it is in heaven. So my point is, we are still again misunderstanding because of our emotionalism that was created by someone who incepted us to make us think that we have to, like for example, like Christianity or Islam and all these modern day things have strayed from what they truthfully really were in the beginning.
This is true.
And dealt with the law and government, which is why Moses, the 10 Commandments, these are all things to help you live in peace and love so that you know that you're kin. So you can love in peace and be able to healthily, be healthy.
Saying this to say that, you know,
Mhm.
the solution is in there, you know. It's just that we lose sight sometimes.
Yeah, man.
The Bible portrays that if you can love your brother as though you love yourself and do unto others as you like them to done unto you, they say these laws are all laws and prophecies.
Allah, that's divine law.
And I wonder sometimes what people can do to come to these simple futures.
But
What is in the back of their
these are
mind?
some of the reasons.
Right.
You understand me?
And these are the roadblocks.
Yeah.
These are
simple.
what caused the things like poverty and them not being able to understand. Because in order for somebody to love somebody, they have to love themselves first.
Yeah.
That is
If
true.
they don't love themselves first, it
You don't
doesn't make no
love
sense
someone else.
talking
Yeah.
about loving.
And you can't rule people without love.
Right? Right.
But they create to be like that.
And this is why they incept through the media
Right.
ways that we are gonna be identified.
That implements so much.
Because that implements
Yeah,
implements the thought processing.
Yeah.
Because we say we're gonna say 25 out of 28 gun murder victims this year have been black males. Oh, you know, black males
Could you imagine?
and black males are this and that and black males when there's no such thing as a black male. It doesn't exist. It's a male.
This is
This
this is standard brainwashing technique.
Yeah.
Right in front of us.
Absolutely.
It's a male, but black is describing the male. But then when you go through this whole thing, they're gonna be talking about blacks and blacks this and blacks that.
What about-
if you have black shoes, it's a shoe.
Right?
Regardless of whether it's black, orange, purple,
It's a shoe.
So the shoe,
Bandana
the
print,
shoe is
whatever,
the
it's a shoe.
identity.
Yeah.
the identity
But when
is
they say
actually
black, no, you're not a human anymore.
right, exactly.
That's
You're an it.
Something different.
Exactly.
You're it.
And that's what the law, that's what international law is dealing with it. And honestly, this is something that our ancestors set up. We the one who taught international divine law onto the same Masons who are usurping our
Exactly.
throne right now.
Exactly.
We know that. For
Yeah,
instance, they
we know
won't
that.
move forward unless they
They know that too. They wear our
That's what they
clothing.
empower themselves.
Right, and that's why in the thing it talks about consent.
Yeah, and divide and conquer.
Will.
But then again, I would send a message to the people who think that they're really well learned. What about the supremacy of reason and logics over force and irrationality?
Right.
It's a good one.
And why can't these lessons be taught in the school? And why can't any of them
They don't
endorse-
want
That's
that.
their institution.
Right.
This is where this is
This is
Exactly.
ours.
That's right. Our school.
Right, this is our
This is
school.
where we should be bringing our children to
Exactly.
or whatever in order for us to get the right information
Right.
Right.
so that we can move forward in the right mind frame.
Move forward and flourish.
Right? Because you can't, you're not gonna move
And this is
until
what-
you think about it.
This
Or
one.
listen to me now.
This is what life is supposed to be
When they are saying
about.
black 24 killing, right?
Yeah.
And we know that we're into a society, and when we look into it, the people who represent to make life better and easier for us, we see in them is just war and rumors of war occupying their attention. And what they left us to do.
And the perception.
You
that's
understand
given.
me? You understand me? And we know that in virtue there's no interest or reason, however legitimate it may be, that can justify war.
It would be nice if that article was about
And
the
why
good
is
deed
it they're
that was
always
done.
involved into war?
Yeah, it would be nice if the good deeds
And what
were
about
there.
the supremacy of reason and logic over force and irrationality?
Right.
For how can you settle a dispute by means of peaceful negotiation if you're going to resort to war?
Right. So then what's the point of the peaceful negotiation?
Exactly.
It's gonna result
And
in
we
war.
know that war develops from inside here.
Right.
So unless you erase the thoughts of war from here, then there's going to be war out there.
Right.
So first you erase it from here.
Right.
So that there's no war out there.
Right. And this is what this is.
So it doesn't have to go on the battlefield. So through reasoning and through the supremacy of reason and logic over force and irrationality, we could destroy it from here.
Okay,
Right.
look how we miss it.
Then don't go on the battlefield.
Look how we miss it.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Right?
Yeah.
Look how we miss it. Right? We're gonna say that we have to invoke a certain energy, right? In order to bring about certain things in society. But what we call ourselves is what casts out us being the evil spirit.
That's the
Exactly.
spiritual
Because
spell you
a
put
black,
that you can put.
if black means everything negative
Right.
Right.
The
by
vibrations.
definition, and you call yourself black, only negative stuff is gonna come to you.
That's right.
That's why there's 25 of 28 victims.
Exactly.
Well, no, again,
So they said,
I-
hold on. They set the tone, and they give you the template, and everything is now off of that.
Right.
So your questions of why are based off of
It's
black
not,
belts.
it's not a question, it's a suggestion. It's more than a question, it's an answer in the form of a question. It's
Right,
almost like a
right.
comment. It's
Alright.
like-
Comment. And
That's
it's
exactly what it
it's
is.
brain. And then now that's installed in your mind whether you know it or not.
That's exactly.
Exactly.
It's like telling someone, don't take that candy that's on the chair.
Right.
The first thing they're thinking
I
about
wanna
is
take
candy.
the
candy.
Right.
And you told them where to
Predictive
get it.
programming.
Right,
Right.
predictive
That's what it
programming.
was.
Right? Because we don't even have to question why. We know why. We know why. It's obvious why.
Right.
So, on that note, we're gonna go back to like where the point where we are making is we didn't even open it yet,
Right. It was on the
I know, eh?
right?
Let's see the front.
So we're just on the front now. So
Yeah.
here's what was the word that we used when you like that was used in the King Alfred plan instead of like when you intentionally open something, or the will when somebody willfully does something, you have to get them to
Consent.
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 Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
You choose to go into it, right?
Right.
Through your personal consent with yourself, you're gonna go into it now. But if you're consenting
So,
based off of a misnomer, everything you open this and look at,
It's gonna color it.
it's colored. You said the right word. You're gonna color it because colored means something artificial.
Creates a context, and that's the way you're gonna read
It's
it.
gonna be colored. So every time, every single thing you're reading is coming from a colored root, colored perspective. So every time you see it say, the black community, one of the things that she says here is, I have it here. She says the mayor, she said, hoping that anger will motivate people to get involved in helping to stop the bloodshed. Until we find a way to get our youth engaged, they're just gonna keep shooting each other. And she says the black community needs to come together.
How said that?
That's an African. Wasn't that
Yeah,
African
the
lady?
sister
Yeah.
who is, I didn't kind of go into it properly, but the
Uma.
sister who is interviewed in 3 of the articles, her name was Kemi Omalolu Olun Loyo.
Yeah.
Seems to me like a Yoruba sister, right? And she's like a mother. As a mother, she's just venting her
Right, she's
her
frustrated.
concern, her frustration for what's going on in the black community, and the black community has to come together, and the black community needs to
Listen,
find
man,
out what's wrong with them, needs to find out what's wrong, what's going on with us as a black community. She's reaching out, she's calling, and she'll say, well, the black community needs to start teaching our black children that we need to start cooperating with crime stoppers and all these stuff. So her motherly natural instincts are coming out. But it's because it's all based off of a misnomer status. She's putting our people more into slavery than before.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know she's being natural mother and doing what mother's supposed to
I mean,
do.
she has been cloned, you know, by the
She's
same
been
oppression.
brainwashed,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
this is a sister coming from the so-called continent.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
She's
not
coming
from here.
She's not.
That shows you how far that plan has gone. right?
That
Success.
plan-
And how widespread,
Because
yeah.
the people on the continent never called themselves black. Is they
Right.
come here and learn that
Right.
crap.
Right.
They don't even call themselves African.
Right.
They say no, I'm Yoruba. I'm Ashanti.
Hey,
Right.
listen, man, that's a trick, you know, to divide.
Divide
That's
and
it.
conquer.
That's all it is.
What do you mean, Ashanti,
So what it is,
Yoruba?
no,
No.
Spread some
No.
propaganda.
No.
Spread
Brother.
some propaganda.
Yorubas and Ashanti is their relation to their family, as opposed to calling them African.
Right.
Though Yoruba and Ashanti is just one of their family names, they have a national name even above that, which we're all related to, which
And
we're
again,
related to.
I wanna
But hold on. Look, the point about this sister being the African.
Right.
Sorry, this sister coming here and brainwashed into new ideologies that was not
That's foreign to her
indigenous.
autopsy.
Yeah, her autopsy.
Right.
Thank
But you
you.
need to learn more, man.
Yeah, right. But this is the power of the brainwashing.
What
trick.
she learned was
She's
incorrect.
learning, but yeah, it's just
She learned
incorrect.
the wrong thing.
Yeah.
If she maintained what she knew, she wouldn't probably be
She
saying
would
what
probably,
she's
but she would have the
saying.
same spirit of love for her people, but she would have had proper norms. She would have been direct,
Right knowledge then.
right knowledge.
Yeah.
She would have been rightly speaking and
Right
saying, no,
overstanding.
these, you know what I mean?
And again, it's not to take away from her energy, of
Right,
what
right.
the reason why she
Yeah, yeah.
said it and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
we know where it's coming from, the love.
We know, we
Yeah,
know.
from the heart.
Same thing that you're talking
Because
about.
that you don't have the right knowledge and the
Right.
right understanding.
Exactly.
On how
So,
to communicate.
yeah.
That's why nothing's gonna get done about that.
For
And
real.
then everybody
Right.
who's
No,
receiving that is gonna have a misconcept moving forward.
how many
Which
other
she's
people
placed there.
She's
Like,
placed
she's
there,
placed
right.
there.
is placed
Right.
there?
And they specifically got her.
Yeah, exactly.
This-
We've seen this so many times,
Right.
man.
A
We've
white
seen this
person
so
reading
many.
that, I'll be like, hey, you know what? Look at what this black person's saying about our own community.
But that's
what
why
it
that
does,
why
it
is so loud.
perpetuate and enforces that stereotype, that
Right.
negative
Yes,
thinking.
that's
right?
what it's doing.
That's what it's doing.
Exactly.
Since I come to Canada, I'm walking through the community. You know, I never book a doctor or a lawyer in here on the street.
Cause
So I wonder why they don't contribute to the community.
Well, they contribute, but it's not shown in the newspaper.
And here's the thing, though.
They
Here's
don't
another
have
part of the King
access.
Alfred plan. When they do get people to, when people do want to contribute to their community, there's all these donors, all these groups and organizations that are all black, Negro, and colored groups who were given funds by the enemy who you're trying to save the people from.
Imagine.
They're all given grants. They all have to register with them. They all gotta register their business, register their organization, register their thing. They're monitored.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, and if they're given money by grants and stuff, if they take it, they have to report every month. They have to, they can manipulate how much. Now that they started a thing, they need to maintain. So now they're subject to desperation, and they're now dependent on them
The handouts.
to keep it going.
Right.
So now they're dependent on this amount of fiat to come in at this time. If it's not coming in, they're willing to, okay, well, they're telling us that we can't be so outspoken about it,
Yeah,
or they're gonna cut off
infiltrating.
our funding, and it's gonna cut off all our dreams
Hey, look-
that we're trying to do for our people.
Yeah.
And it, you know what I'm trying to say?
Like this funny now, when these men who is in parliament get up and make certain laws, certain rule, and it kills millions of people every day, they don't address that. I
Here's
think
the
shouldn't
thing.
need that.
Yep.
It's only when a man go to some bus, one shot and kill a man, they talk about it.
That's right. That's a hypocrisy right
So-
there.
You understand me? But they create different means that kill people every day, and nobody sees that.
Yeah, but they cover their
You
tracks.
understand me?
What?
For real?
They cover their tracks.
I mean, thousands of people dying from what they're doing, and you don't hear anything about it.
But we're not.
This is how
We can't expect to hear or see anything because that's their thing. You know what I mean? That's their
Honestly,
thing.
so if they have
That's-
somebody in a black status and they deal with him however they want to do, can anybody on the planet stand up for that black? So are they doing anything wrong? They've covered themselves that they're
Right.
actually doing.
They cover their steps. Yeah.
Yeah, they cover their stuff.
So
by getting
nobody
you.
can bring them, hold them accountable because you're the one who's saying you're black.
You're
Right.
consenting to being
Black.
nothing.
So
Stop
if they
anybody
came up to me,
That's
it's like if
That's what China did. And that's why they're now going to be the superpower.
Right.
Because though they
What was
were
that?
subjected to
Stop them
them,
by their rules.
though they
Oh.
were subjected to the same type
British
of
Empire.
colonialism and stuff
Right.
like that, they said, you know what?
They're the modern slaves.
Forget
They're
this.
the modern
You're that
slaves.
tribe, you're that tribe. Japan and China managed to settle their differences.
Wow.
Trust me.
The
All in
Chinese-
all, they're working out their thing and they're saying, yo, we're dethroned right now in that part of the land. Those Moors are dethroned over there. So what they're doing, they're going to come together if they're doing it righteously.
Well, it's a
They're
lie.
coming
It's a
together
lie.
and
Well, to
now,
add to that, the very reason that Japan and China was at each other's throats was because of the colonial power.
because of the colonial power that separated them and denationalized them from whom they were even
Had
before.
them thinking opposite of what is.
When you talk about the Moors, I mean, how we lose control, right? How the Moors lose control is it's just like we have a will to help other people. And sometimes when the enemies come, you don't even know them. And then they take away your own source of life and turn it back on you and bring you down
Yeah.
and use that against you.
But that's where
To
you have
move
to
forward.
sustain. That's where you
And
have to
say
be
they are the one who responsible when they know they take it from you.
Right, good point. Now I want to get into further reason on that. If you're standing here in martial arts and everything that you're doing, if you're sitting here and someone comes and punches you in the face, it's because you let them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Another reason is if any situation that you're in
Give
and
it-
you
give
at the
the
end of it
table one.
blame the person,
give the table one.
you're in error.
That's right, it's on you.
If
It's
you put
you.
something on someone's
You did
table.
something to put yourself in that position. And karma dharma.
One,
Do you want to know what the karma is of the Moorish nation? That we enslaved Europeans first.
Really?
Yes. This is our karma.
I can see, because it's something that, you know, is a reverse like psychology, you know?
Karma, man.
Yeah.
We are responsible. That's why we have to clean up our mess. Since we fell in ancient Egypt, we've been, and then George G.M. James in the book Stolen Legacy is, if anybody's read that, Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. He was assassinated for it, and he just exposed that everything that's taught in Europe and all that stuff came from us. Like in details,
Yeah.
to a point where they had to kill him.
Wow.
Like they had to kill him. You must read that book.
That's
and in
good.
that book, he clearly states the custodians of the Egyptian mystery system and culture after the fall went to the Moors. The Moors are the custodians. And this is what Timbuktu is, and this is what the Moors in Spain was all
The
about.
university.
Yeah.
All the universities,
Yeah.
and when the Romans came and stole everything from the Greeks to try to use to conquer us, the Romans messed things up in terms of spiritual, keeping that universal spirit, universal science tight, shown in their Roman numerals. Like they just watered down stuff till it means nothing anymore.
Right.
Right? They can't use Roman numerals anymore because it does have no science behind it. But what happened is after they call this the Dark Ages of Europe, when Europe went into disease and everything, Spain was the light of the world.
Right.
It wasn't called Spain then, right? But since Hannibal's from before BC, we've been there, right? Just in 700, there was a renaissance in which the Moors started to now bring all of the sciences from ancient Egypt, all the technologies you're seeing here, computers and stuff, He did that in Spain. And more. This is nothing. This is nothing. All of the so-called Jews, the reason why they're Jews is because they're mixed cosmopolitan people who are descendant, whose forefathers are Moors. And then through mixtures, a lot of them came light, and they became the students in these Moorish universities. Right. And it was through these Moorish, every European who was wealthy sent their children to the, if it's 400, 500 universities in Spain, light of the world, and then those descendants, and then in Spain, the Christian forces of Queen Isabella and Ferdinand, they also persecuted them because they're dealing with Rastafari, you know what I mean, culture and spirituality, just in a modern term, but Jew, you know what I mean, just 10 Commandments, you know what I mean, it's actually a way of life, you know what I'm trying to say, and then after, and then including the Moors as well. Well, the Moors are Jews as well, right? It's just different timelines. An older set of peoples were more Jewish lifestyle. The newer set of peoples after 600 came with this Renaissance.
Okay, something crossed my mind about even during the time when Willie Lynch was working and people's mind, and today have a great influence on their mind.
Yeah.
And right now them kill actually our black sisters, who really and truly should be our teachers and taught us the true way of life. And now we come up now into our fields where we know through the demoralization of the mind and the brainwash education, then we're up to do anything.
We agree.
And now they knew that. And they knew that it's going to result then in this way of committing crime.
That's right. That's right.
And this is why they're basing on this thing. But when Willie Lynch was doing anything, I didn't hear them say anything about it.
Yeah, because
And they get with those wicked cruelty what they do to us.
yeah,
They lynch the mind.
But why? Why? Because those people said that they were black people. And if you say you're a black person, you're not nothing. So we can do anything to you. We could tie you to a horse, pull you apart, we cut your stomach open, stomp on your black baby. It doesn't matter because you're not a human. You're it.
And sometimes I wonder, I mean,
It's
why
not
not
great.
a court down there then?
You know what I mean?
What are those people lacking in there?
No, you want to know why? They're not doing anything unlawful.
They're not doing nothing wrong.
You know why? Do you know why? Not because it's not morally, it's morally wrong, but they've already made sure. Remember, they didn't just come one day and said, because you're Darcy and your thing. We lost an empire.
Yeah.
We were in power here. We're in the maroon. Right? You too. And all of us. But that's still a misnomer. But what I'm saying is, we were already in the power. We started whipping them, treating them like slaves, sent them here, in a sense, as in,
Casting up, pushing up.
as in, okay, the last statement I made, it has to be said with a lot of detailed clarification, but what I'm saying is we threw them into slavery first. Look up the last, if you study Spain, study the Inquisition, study from 700 to 1492 in Spain, until Christopher Columbus. We were dethroned. And then all they did was jump in our boats and come and survey the lands in which they inherited. So if you study the story of Christopher Columbus again, it's clear. Right? But because we've not, when you start with right concepts, and then when you read something, it's clear. But if you think you're black, Indian, and shit, and sorry, and then you read Christopher Columbus' story, you're thinking he's coming over here and seeing a different people. When it's clear, Moors really brought him over there. Moors drove the boats. He said
he didn't come here to think like that.
He didn't drive the boat.
They feel like that.
Right.
From what they're telling them right now.
What they're telling them right now.
And they put it in their movies too, as well. You see, even in Star Trek and all those movies.
Okay.
I seen a clip online where you know these three men came. It wasn't actually, it was like two men and a woman came in. They had information that they even wanted. You even seen symbols in it, more symbols in it. So it's like they know, and they're just playing it back in, and you're just watching it, not realizing that it's just you know.
And ultimately, how did all these guys be able to be labeled black males, black this, black that, black whatever, whatever. Because attached to black, whenever relating to people, like Moor is always attached to it. Like in the times of Europeans coming out of slavery with us being their slave master, and them getting out of slavery and having certain freedoms to be able to go to certain places. Okay, well, you're qualified now, you can take the boat and you can go over there. Or you're qualified now, so you can use this fork. Or you can use this washroom. Or this is what a sidewalk is, so this is how you build a sidewalk. You know what I mean? And then you use the sidewalk so you don't get run over in the street. And then you have the irrigation. And then you have the tunnels under the city that's going to dump everything in the lake because this
So
is how
they
things run.
inherited the sciences and the know-how.
Everything. Inherited everything.
Everything.
Right? And being that they inherited everything, now they can say what everything is and what things are not. Because they know what everything is.
Right.
And if they can get you to say, well, Indians are indigenous to this land, right? And this is America, and Indians come from India, then they're not indigenous here, if they're called Indians.
So they are the aboriginal or the original.
Right? No, well,
But isn't there an issue with
back
the
to language?
Using the language,
Go back to language again.
Yeah.
Because original is an English word, derived from a Latin word, but ab has nothing to do with the English language. Ab is a totally different language. And they're putting these two together now to say that this is an English word, Aboriginal. When it's two different, it was diverse nationalities that had different languages.
Right.
But the languages aren't different. It's dialects of
the same language.
other languages that, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just dialects of dialects. And we're at the stage now where there's all these dialects around here, Arabic, Amharic,
Different languages.
and
Categorized as different languages.
it's categorized as languages.
Really just dialects.
But it's
Right.
really the same thing.
When you go back to the root source.
When you go back to the root source of it, right?
Here's a thought for you. Given the fact, let's just say when this whole stuff started with the Moors enslaving the Europeans, do you think this awakening right now, this kind of like, you know, what we're doing right now and where the world is going, you think that may be flipped in some sense? You know, not to say that we should, I don't think we should enslave anyone else, but in actuality, you know, become independent and autonomous, you know, not become slaves in a sense. Do you see it like a cycle, like, you know what I mean? If the Moors were on top and then the bottom and then come back up, like a cycle in life.
Yeah, well, yeah, and again, it's just like every individual, in my opinion, like any individual, you're responsible for your destiny, you know what I mean? It's in our hands.
Right.
Whatever we do with it is what we do with it. If we go up, if we come down or whatever, it's like astrology, it's understanding what the energies are. Then when you understand it, they don't affect you in any negative way because you know how to work with it. So if you know that every December 25th is a summer solstice, you'll know during at that time, prepare yourself to get really spiritual. You know what I mean? Get together with your family at those times.
Right.
That's why they do a ritual.
Right.
On Christmas.
Right.
And they incepted and did their version of whatever the frick they want you to do.
Right.
Right? And but then because of our misconfusion now we're gonna go burn out Christmas, which the ritual and the style of them doing may be theirs, but the science of what it really is ours.
It's the same.
So when you celebrate their Christmas, doesn't that mess with our spirituality around that?
Yeah, especially
like putting up trees.
If you're just following,
like if you put up trees and stuff like that in your home.
If you don't have a logical, scientific reason why you're putting up a tree, or you're just doing it because you're told that's what you're supposed to do.
Another disconnection.
Right. Find the reason why the tree is being put up and see if you're part of that ritual.
Right.
Are you a part of that ritual? Or Halloween, are you a part of that ritual? Because that is a really powerful, energetic day on Halloween.
Right.
It's not like it's not necessarily what they're saying Halloween's about.
Right.
But you're letting them tell you that that's what you're supposed to do on this day.
Right.
Which brings right back to the ritual. And the fact that this is only happening to quote unquote black males.
Right.
And look at that thing that we have on the table, that gun. really and truly, I know that's the reason why the crime can done.
Mm-hmm.
Gun.
Where does it come from?
And a man, if you say gun, a man doesn't get locked up for that, you know. And I know it's the worst word a man can ever use.
Yeah, but
but look what they even put numbers don't lie.
If gun is so dangerous, why they make it?
Okay, right? So just
Who
like
is making it?
just
And
like
why the purpose do they make it?
okay, how about this?
And don't try to convince them that's not
Forget
true
about
because
the
numbers don't lie.
fact
They
that,
try to
but like guns been around.
Yeah.
Guns aren't something new,
Right.
right? Guns isn't a new phenomenon,
And I made and Europeans didn't invent it.
Right?
right? Numbers don't lie,
Right.
right? Numbers don't lie. There's 8 bullets right here, right? There's 8 bullets right here on top of this gun. Like, don't forget that this thing right here says numbers don't lie, right? 8 is perpetual,
Right.
infinity.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Also dealing with status
No
as
Fred.
well. When you get into the numerology definition of age.
Right?
Right.
I don't want to use the word, man.
And then
25 of 28.
5 and 2 is 7, right? And 8 and 2 is 10. 0 has no value, so that's 8.
Right. 7 plus 1. And
Right.
10.
Right. And then 25 plus 28 is 53, which is 8.
Right.
They're using
It's
age.
a ritual.
They're using the
It's a
science of the age.
perpetual ritual in order for you to continue to be on the front page asking the question why.
Well, here's a question.
You know how much?
If they're using that, and I know they put it to us in a very social standpoint, but then there's a hidden agenda. Let's say when they have all these numerology come together, what is their belief and what is their purpose of doing that? You know what I mean? Other than the normal factor of trying to propagate us with the information.
Really and truly.
What's the spiritual side of it?
Oh,
This it's not something that's just put out there in a sense that just kind of. It may have double meanings or multiple meanings or multiple purposes for it.
The spiritual side of it. The spiritual side of it is that they're doing a ritual on T.O.
Right.
They're doing a ritual to get everybody who looks brown to think that black issues have to deal with them.
Right. Right.
Participation.
Participation,
is
consent.
the ritual. Consent.
The
Right.
ritual is consent,
Or
perpetual consent.
not objecting to
Christmas,
something.
Halloween.
If you don't say no in a way, you are
Right,
saying
you're
yes.
If you don't say no,
Right,
you're
exactly.
consenting.
Yeah.
It's like in law, fraud is not fraud until challenged.
Right.
Like you gotta call it. Who says it's fraud until you? So just like you get everyone
I don't know,
participating
man, these
in
people there-
thought,
they're
it's
so
concentrated thought.
Or just
The
the
query-
much people go through on
Was it particular? Particular?
Yeah.
People died in Iraq.
Yeah.
And just from the war in Iraq, you know how many people died over the world for them to benefit from what was going on there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but how
And just to
Are
look
they-
up for 28 killed, and now they're putting everything on black.
yeah, but how
And look how much Bush killed.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and nobody knows nothing about Bush right now. They use that to hide Bush.
But of course not.
No one can say anything
No one's
because
gonna
he
say-
did what he did.
Because he's not black, he's white.
No.
Okay, sorry,
No.
then I say, yeah,
That you see that right there, that statement right there, that's exactly what they want.
that's what
Yeah,
you want,
yeah.
Real.
That's
You
where
know, so
they're trying to get.
Right.
They're
So they're keeping you blind, and while the real Agat, them still alive.
Yeah.
Agat, you again.
But again, right? If they're saying there's an issue with, for example, there's an issue with Bush, and nobody's not talking about, well, how come nobody's talking about all those people that he killed? Because we're Iraq. They say Iraq's in the Middle East, right? Middle East doesn't exist.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a Middle East somewhere.
They just make up that name too.
Right.
And what makes it powerful is the people in Baghdad are believing that crap.
Yeah.
That's
That's the democracy
crazy.
game.
Yeah.
Like,
It's subliminal.
think about it like this, right? East. Where's Middle East?
There was
Exactly.
Yeah,
It really is
Like,
the Middle
how is
East.
there a
There's
middle
east, the west, north, and the south.
North and
So
south.
unless
Yeah.
it's center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's middle,
Right, it's just
north.
labeling,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. That it's
That's
basic.
exactly what it
That's
is.
what I'm saying. That it's basic.
Label.
But I agree
And
with you,
they know
sir.
it- they know-
There's a hypocrisy when, but I try not to go there because it plays into the same hand. If we look
Right,
at things as
exactly.
white and black, we're doing the same thing. It doesn't matter if we're
Exactly.
the victim side of things as
Right.
opposed to the the conqueror versus the conqueror or the conquerors versus the conquered.
Exactly.
You gotta stop playing that
If
game.
you call someone white, you're calling them your slave master.
Exactly.
Because it's a
If you call
status.
somebody white, you're saying
It's a status.
you're there. You're saying it could be a green person. It could be a chipmunk. You're calling white. You're saying that you're my slave master because it's a status, as the brother was saying.
You're playing the game.
It's a status. It's like in spirituality. White is purity.
Right.
This is why you paint and wear white clothes. This is why you in voodoo or Arabia you paint yourself in white.
Yeah. But the fact still remains, from my born until now, I never seen no white man.
Right. Never.
I see pink people and
Right.
brown, you know.
Right.
No white person.
Just to show
you. Yeah.
And even
Never.
if the people were pink, you're not gonna call them pink people.
No.
No.
You're gonna call them European,
Right.
or you're gonna call them whatever
Of the nation.
nationality that
yeah.
they say that they come from. But we're the only one
That accept that.
That-
Black.
play that color game.
Right.
Yeah.
And say cracker. White man is devil. White man. Why do you think that stuff got so popular? They want
They
it.
want it to
popular.
be.
They promote, as we know, they fund
That's
those
it.
leaders.
That's it. Exactly.
They put those leaders up. How the heck can you go on YouTube and let's get guns and kill all these crackers and and it's still up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's still all over.
Of course,
you
yeah.
can go on it because Elijah Muhammad
They want
and
you-
Farrakhan them can say what they want because they're
Yeah.
in your
Crackers are
pocket.
nothing.
Yeah.
Crackers are biscuit.
Teaching
If you wanna kill
People
crackers,
ignorant shit.
go right ahead.
You see?
Kill all the crackers.
Why
that
you
you
teach
like.
people that?
One message I have to really and truly send across the youths then
Yeah.
of today to look into themselves and know that when if they believe in their creator, they could make a change for the better. And as long as they don't believe, it's gonna be worse for them.
What these youths are asking for,
For the truth.
the truth.
For the truth.
Yeah.
And they want us as elders to stop being stuck on stupid, straight up. Cause we're stuck on hold on. Us as elder people in general,
Yeah.
we're stuck on stupid. And these youths only want it straight.
Yeah.
The youth will come and tell you, but you're not black.
Right?
You gotta listen to him, cause he's right, she's right.
Comes from a
Exactly.
place of innocence, of purity.
Purity.
Exactly.
Come back to
We
the
are
same
the
thing.
problem. Our youth are showing us that we don't have our
Stuff together.
Stuff together.
Yeah.
We don't know where we come from, so how can we tell them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're asking us, where do I come from? And you're telling them you're a black man. Their subconscious is saying you're teaching me lies.
But
Yeah.
you're black.
How come I can't look in history and see myself?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So they're upset at us. So they're shooting us. It's our fault.
Well, his story still teaches a lesson, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. That's what it's all why the creator put it, why we're in
His
this
story
situation.
teaches us that, we can unite together as one.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
History teaches that unity is strength.
That's
We
your
were
divine
one.
right.
Caution us to submerge and overcome our differences in the quest for common goal.
And here what Joel, and you're right, man, you're right. And this is what Joel is telling you, is that you were one before 1492. In terms, like, the whole world. Only in North America do we call ourselves blacks and Negroes, and the rest of the world they call us Moors. Because we told them
all these
we're
words,
Moors.
when I look into it, is that I put on yourself label. And if we could just take off this label off yourself, we
Right.
would have no problem after that.
That's right.
Take off all the
Hold on,
religion,
hold on, okay,
all
hold
the
on.
labels,
But hold on,
and
but
look
hold
at
on.
ourselves as we are.
I agree that
But
take
naturality
away
is
false
nature.
labels. I agree to take away
Yeah.
false labels, but your name is who you are.
Right.
It represents you,
Right.
right?
Your name's on it.
Right. Your name is a label. It's a good label. It's the right, proper name label. Because if I'm out there on the street and someone comes and tries to jump me or whatever, I'm calling my family. Right? It's these people who I'm connected to. Or if something happens to me on the street and I get kidnapped by these peace officers or a security company, whom do I have protection by? Your family, who comes and bails you, even in their society, who bails you? Who has that connection to you? Who can vouch and say, nah, this is a human being, his name is Adisa Annabelle. He's my son, we have a grandmother, we have a grandfather, and this is how you stand up for yourself as an equal in the world. Right. So no one can step on you, so I can respect you, you respect me. Who are you? Kujadwell? I'm Adisa Annabelle. That's why in Asian cultures, even in enemies, they bow to each other, and you have to introduce yourself to your enemy. It's worse.
One thing I can say to the youth them, and they should know this clear, that life is not all about material things and gain. And the greater elements that surround us that are more valuable than these things, they're not really teaching them in the school.
No.
For life is all about love, peace, patience, faith, endurance, a clean hands, and a pure heart towards Mount Zion.
We gotta,
for without righteousness,
we gotta stop expecting them to teach us anything different.
Right, there we go.
We have to stop expecting them to do anything different.
It's like going to the abuser for a remedy from the abuse.
That's the whole point.
Exactly.
But that's what happens, right? In a relationship where someone's being abused, they don't go outside, they go back to the
and they actually make it seem like they're helping you.
And try to negotiate, but they don't. More abuse comes.
But then again, we know that it is impossible without education.
Yeah, that's why we educate ourselves.
The right education.
And education in particular.
What's the education?
So education in general can't alone suffice.
In their corporate institutions.
But education in particular now is to aim to provide beyond the physical food.
Yes, ma'am.
For the intellect, the reason power, and the soul and the mind, for the community in general and the people in particular.
We live in a miseducation system.
For us to come together, we have to address all these futures. For the education, for just remuneration for a belly full or just for a pocket full of money, that alone can make us live together. It's a form of segregation.
Right. It is.
Part of the thing we're also trying to bring is that
it's the unity. It's
the language.
Part of the thing we're trying to think is a lot of us think we're in like a more victim position than we truthfully are. That's the illusion. That's the matrix illusion. Right. The only reason why they're in that power is because we believe in the illusion.
Right. The carrot.
The reality of what's going on here is that you're indigenous, not because it just seems like it and you're dark skinned. I mean, according to every single treaty, the foundation of this place, we founded. Like, I mean, the United States of America, that we think that was just hijacked, and then now it seems like they're the enemy, because who hijacked them are the enemy, right? But what we're trying to say is like, the solution is already and has been there, since and reminded in 1913, but it's always been there.
It's like when they say that the suspect is black, with a baseball hat, with a jacket, with a hood, with fur over the thing, and he's wearing baggy jeans. Right?
The label.
That's anybody.
Anybody.
That's anybody. Like that, that doesn't identify.
So you wonder why is it even said?
Right?
Not a label.
Right? Exactly. But we fall for the label. Right?
That's why they keep using it. That's why they keep saying it.
That.
So when any of there is a black man and he's a suspect then, and he's a suspect, what do you think they should do?
No, this is what we say. Our first thing is to question, what's a black man?
Right.
I'm a black man.
Like, what is that?
Or is him or whom can vouch for
That's a strong statement to make there. And they should stop, they must stop doing those things right now for a war. They are creating war amongst us. It's war. Right. That's war. But that suspect doesn't mean the person who committed the crime. That suspect means all of us.
Well, exactly.
But that's what happens in society, though.
Right.
Especially, like, and I'm using the
when
example.
you're walking down the road, we are the suspect.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what happening now in the community, the police is coming and saying, you look suspicious, like the person they're looking for. And you don't involve in nothing. And they will go and ask if you're a search, ask your name, and then they want to search you and do everything like that.
That's
but they can't.
This is what you should expect.
It's their jurisdiction.
That's right. It's their society.
Honestly, because all those people who are getting searched and seized have agreed by contract that they are to be treated that way.
By telling them their name or what?
Yeah,
no, by their status. By their status.
By that.
By even that too.
Higher level of thinking.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's do it, right? So 2010 gun murders in the city of Toronto. Right? Vincent Wright, that's a European name, so they have jurisdiction.
If your eyes are closed, that's European, right?
Because Wright is a European name. If he looks like us, he's supposed to be called Shaka Zulu or something like that. He's not supposed to have a name that's a European.
Right.
If you have a European name, that means that you're a slave.
You're branded.
You're branded with a European name.
Right.
Right?
So might as well
Tyrell
put a logo on
Duffus.
That's what it is.
Tyrell Duffus. Kevin Williams. Mitchell. Prosper. Thompson. Dowden. Kenyon. Ellington.
Wow.
Bracken. White. Derby. Daly. Facey. There's only one African name on here, but his first name's Albert.
And we can get into the details of that.
Right.
That's a denationalization
Like,
process.
Gives them the name gives them jurisdiction over you. If you don't have the right, if you don't have the right name.
She have a child,
Yeah.
and the child born, right? Does the name that she give a child give them over to them, or
Right.
The
When you
birth,
register your birth
once
certificate.
you register the birth certificate,
so you give it over to them?
Right.
right?
If she names the child Michael Thompson, the Thompson family of Europe, by law, allodial title, inheritance, is their property. They can go to court and get their property.
Wow.
After I die, after we die, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations later, they can sue, the Thompson family can sue your children for everything that I'm doing right now. So all the possessions, everything that I'm thinking is mine is actually the Thompson family's.
They set it up that way.
Wow.
I know that. For
That's what they call franchising.
Yeah.
Like if you buy McDonald's,
Yeah.
you're not getting all the money. You have to give McDonald's a cut.
Yeah.
Because it's
their name.
McDonald's name.
Right.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
So then now you are a branded, like they brand their cows and stuff.
Yeah.
You're a chattel.
You're branded.
Slave, you're chattels.
Like my
Slavery is-
name is Clark. So basically, I'm part of the Clark family,
family.
but probably the
But
same.
they're because they're not gonna say, yeah, you're my family. They're gonna say, no, that's my slave.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and we know that.
Right.
These names are stemming from the plantations,
Right.
and these are, remember, these plantations
Yeah.
are companies.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So you are a piece of merchandise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their merchandise stamped with their name, like you said, McDonald's or what, Nike or, you know what I'm saying? And all these are all in capital letters too.
Well, come to you now, a police come to you and arrest you, and you don't give him no name. Does he have the right to just keep you in jail forever?
If you can prove that you are something other than what he's claiming you are, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
he's
you're hard a bandit if he doesn't have a name there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's claiming. He's gonna claim
What's
something.
the lie?
if you cannot defend yourself,
He's gonna claim
who is
something.
going to defend someone? If someone comes up to you and calls you dog shit, and you don't say I'm not dog shit, everyone's gonna start calling you that. That's an example. So I'm saying if a police officer comes, they're not even police officers. That's another spell.
Yeah.
You call them that.
You
Then
give them the
they-
same
Giving
power
them
that you're
the-
complaining
as
about.
if they are. When they're not, they're a security company.
Because that's
And if
to
anything, they're peace
set an
officers.
order, right? Like
Peace
police.
officers?
That's why they never call
set an
themselves
order and
police
enforce
officer,
law.
say
You know
peace
the Freeman
constable or
perspective?
peace officer daily, because they're not
You ever heard of the
police.
Freeman stuff? Like the Freeman?
Yeah, free man
Yeah.
land.
Right.
Yeah.
It comes back to the same thing.
Same
What,
thing.
what is that?
Right.
What's
What
a
is
free
that?
man? Like,
Well,
what is that? What not?
Is
Where's
it
your
a
free
crime
man
like
flag?
in the
Well,
society?
it's,
Where's your
it's
free man land?
just, it's a label based on something that's opposite to what's going on. And I'm not saying that I support the label, but I support the concept
Some of the
and
stuff
the
that
idea.
they're
of
saying
what
in terms
they're
of
doing.
exposing their fraud.
That's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to break from the corporate rule.
Yeah.
And the whole capitalization of names, when your name's capitalized, you're not a person, you're a corporation.
See,
Exactly.
The only way they
Yeah.
can make
That's
that,
like Canada.
the only way they can make that argument,
If
Is
you have a
this
very
Canada corporation?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like America is.
Alright.
Yeah.
right. The only
it's
way
a
you
corporation.
British going back.
the only way that you can make that argument,
Call you back.
right? If you say I'm a
Yeah.
free man, and you're saying
Yes.
that you're not a corporation, you're committing fraud.
Yeah.
Well,
The problem is that the people
Hold on.
who
This is kind of.
can sue them
Mhm.
for committing fraud by not telling the whole, like if you're not telling the whole story, you're committing fraud.
Mhm.
they're not talking about the fact that it's Moors that gave them the authority to talk like that free man stuff.
Right. Right.
They're trying to block that part of history off.
Oh yeah.
Because they're in cahoots with. That's why the free man can get away with doing certain things and getting bonds and doing all this type of stuff. Because they're in allegiance. Same thing with the government giving grants to black groups to keep pushing the black perspective.
It's the newest trick in the book.
Like what you're
The
saying.
free man is a new concept.
Like to end up.
Is that what you're saying?
That.
Really?
Right?
It's the newest trick in the
because
book.
There's no such thing as a free
that
man.
needs to be broken down.
Right.
Free man doesn't.
The way I understand it, it's a breaking from this whole system. The freeman is a label as far as what the ideology and concept is. But in order for you to break from the system, you're reinforcing, like you said, the family name, right? So you're not supporting when they come and ask you, my name is Chris Shifcharan. I wouldn't say that that's my name. I would say my name is Chris. I'm the son of, and then give my matriarchal lineage and my paternal lineage, right?
Yeah.
And the reason you do that is that you're not trying to you don't want to use the words that they've used in their system. Once you do that, you enter into their jurisdiction. When you enter into their jurisdiction, then they have powers over you.
Right. But
that's how it seems. That's how it is on, say, grade 1 level.
Right.
Now going to a grade 2 level of
right.
The issue is that whatever their matriarchal lineage name is as a free man, it's a European name.
Right.
And not in
This
this
is Europe.
Right.
So you can't talk free man and we want to do whatever we want around here because this isn't your land to do that.
And
Right.
Europeans can't authorize sovereignty. They're not in the position. They are not the sovereigns here to offer sovereignty.
You have to be a sovereign in order to give sovereignty.
So
Right.
if you're going to the same corporation and saying, call me a sovereign,
Right. That's just
I
asking for
found some
different label.
paperwork.
that's asking, and then when you asking them, I now have the contract to saying that you're sovereign.
Right.
Because you're saying sovereign, give me sovereignty. Now
The
we are,
sovereignty saying, all right,
okay,
here
fine.
it is.
You
And then
just
you
made
say,
me your sovereign.
all right,
Here.
Right.
And then when they want to take you back, they're going to take you back.
Right. Because it's given by them.
because it's
theirs.
given.
Right?
And if it's given, then you're actually subordinate.
That's
You're not
true.
sovereign.
That's true.
Which means you're committing fraud. You're calling yourself something that you're not.
Right. This is the biggest money-making business going on today.